Hi folks, I'm Matt and welcome to My Expanded Universe, a show where I go through the entire EU in chronological order as best I know how. Alright folks, before we talk about our two little short stories from Tales from Jabba's Palace, let me mention a short little comic book tale from Star Wars Tales, issue number 16, called Best Birthday Ever. Basically, this was written by Todd Parhill, and in it, Fortuna and Salacious Crumb, Bib Fortuna and Salacious Crumb, are going to the post office, essentially, to go get a birthday present for Jabba. Now, you could basically put this maybe a little bit earlier before Jedi, but in my mind, it kind of happened right before, maybe just a little misadventure there, and guess what? It sucks, just like every Star Wars tale, or most of the Star Wars tales do. So, let's move on from that. And the reason I want to mention it, because I bet Bib Fortuna, after having that greatest birthday ever adventure with Salacious Crumb, said, "Of the Days Annoyances, these." This is written by M. Shane Bell and is about Bib Fortuna and about what it's like being the major domo, or whatever his title was, and basically Jabba's right-hand man, making sure the palace runs well. It's fantastic. He's counting off all the day's annoyances. This annoys him. This he needs to fix out. This a list and stuff. Making list. So quirky. So awesome. Great, great, great story. I don't want to ruin the end. I really think you need to read this one, even though eventually, as I keep going, I'm going to have to ruin the ending for you eventually, but that's not for a while. Bib Fortuna's story is not over. There is a horrific ending. Horrific means horrifying and terrific. It's horrific, baby. And it is a fantastic ending to the book. And you think that's the end of Bib Fortuna's story, but it is not. And it's just so cool. It's so cool what happens. And this happens to a few people in the in the tales as well. But when it happens to Bib Fortuna, it's just great. It's just great. I really don't want to spoil it, so I should just move on. And the next one I want to move on to is the other tale called The Great God Quay. This was written by George Alec Effinger, and basically it's about the Quay who are there. And the Quay are these, hardened-faced guys with these long, dirty braids, and they're on the skiffs, and they're some of Jabba's guards here and there. We find out more about them and their society and why they are slaves to the Hutts, willing slaves to the Hutts, way later on in the Expanded Universe storyline. But in this one, it's basically just a little quirky story where these Quay worship this god that speaks to them through this instrument. Now, this instrument is basically the magic 8-ball. It even has some of the, when they shake it up and pray or whatever, and then they look and the answer bubbles up to the top, And of course they do whatever the Quay says. And it's okay. It's a fun story. It's a fun story. I don't know. It's just like, why does it have to be in Magic 8-Ball? I mean, it's painfully obvious that that's what he wanted it to be, was the Magic 8-Ball. And maybe, Magic 8-Balls are fun. We used to ask questions to one another in the toy line, because we never bought these things. But we'd ask us, will my mom get me this for Christmas? Okay, let me try again. Will my mom buy me lots of for Christmas? You just keep going until you get the right answer to float up, and then try not to shake it too much so that right answer would float up again and again. So I guess maybe he just loved the 8-Ball. He thought, hey, you know what? This would be a fun thing to throw into the Expanded Universe, and it would be enjoyable to see these aliens really believe that this non-magical thing could be this big, essential, this great God who speaks to them. He speaks to me through the 8-Ball, or what, the Quay, or whatever it is. And I get it. It's fine. And it's a fun story, but does it have to be the 8-Ball? Does it have to be like that? I don't know. Anyway, overall, pretty fun story, but not as good as the Days Annoyances. You got to check that one out. All right, folks, that's all the time I have for now. See you next time with another video.